Reap the Harvest live. We are back talking about. I had to give him the who used to do that? Arsenio Hall. It's. I think so. I think Arsenio Hall show that he used to get the whole entire crowd to do that. Man, that was back in the day. But the right people. We were talking about this before we streamed. Is getting the right people around you, getting the right people in your community, getting the right people working for you. And, we're really looking forward to getting the right people into the Reap the Harvest group launching next month. We've had this group kind of on the back burner for a while. We've been doing the show and doing the show and doing the show for months, as you guys know. And we're going to start building a virtual community of people that want to be a part of the growth of this community moving forward. And I'm really excited about that as well, because now people can kind of pick your brain a little bit about what you're talking about on these shows. Because, I mean, you're very knowledgeable in real estate. I think that you don't give yourself credit because you're just used to just doing it. So you don't think about what you know because you're too busy just doing it and running your business. But I think that there is a wealth of knowledge that you can share with people and help people make more money, help people have a better marriage, help people in their personal development. And so we're really excited to finally open that up to people next month. So the right people is always the key with something like that, or with anything that we do in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, isn't that, I mean, that's so true. I was talking the other day because time management is crucial in that too. So, and I was talking to somebody the other day about, you can, philanthropic is good. It's a good thing. But when you make a decision that actually impacts the production level, later in that day, by being philanthropic, I tend to gravitate away, from a little bit, maybe just from the philanthropic, because you're not going to get as much production level in the other day. And that happened to me. And I was like, dang, you have to consider one of the most important things, and this is not to be greedy or anything, but one of the most important things is you have to put an hourly rate on your time, right? And there's a time to be philanthropic, and then there's a time not to be, right? And so when there was a guy, right, and he's at our church, and I wanted to help him out. The problem is that I didn't have the time to make sure that he had the resources to get where he needed to be, where I was going to be helping him out. And that turned into one of the biggest detriments of my day, because I was trying to facilitate something that wasn't working, that was working against me on other things that I actually need to get done that actually were really important. So everything worked out, and everything does work out, but it was making that decision that day of creating a priority for him when he should not have been a priority, because I had 3 other priorities that I need to take care of that actually came far above and beyond it being anything philanthropic. And there's a fine line in that, right? Where it's identifying, all right, who am I surrounding myself with, right? And so now I say that and that comes back to just being very discerning about your time. Because that was just a detriment that I had a couple of weeks ago, that we had a closing we're working on, trying to help a guy that literally almost took out half of my day. And now I'm trying to I'm worried about him. His phone ended up dying, and I'm trying to figure out where he is.
You have to hold yourself accountable too. And so if people are pulling you off of your accountability plan, it's not the right people.
No. And so, anyways, I lead to this because we had to actually make some very, very strong decisions in our property management team that we have actually currently at our complex, because I was looking at our numbers, and I'm a big numbers. You got to look at the numbers. Are you red? Are you black? Are you, where are your numbers trending? And if your numbers aren't trending good, where do you do the evaluation, and where do you take the cuts, and where do you feel like you have the right people? And I always go back to core values, right? Core values of being kind, be courteous, be professional, and be bold, right? Of how are we gonna make sure that people align with the core values, and that we're moving the ball downfield, right? We're kicking the can downfield. And one thing that I struggle with as far as, from a leadership perspective, creating the vision, setting the vision, but the bite-sized pieces, right? You never want to overwhelm somebody in your vision. that ultimately you have to break it down. And that's where, like, if I couldn't recommend more, Traction, right? Traction breaks things down to 90-day increments of where you want to go. But when you break things down into bite-sized pieces, there's different people, right? There's the I can't people, there's the I won't people, and then there's the people, we'll figure it out. We'll figure a way out, right? And I'm not trying to boast on myself, but I'm like, I'll figure it out. Like, we'll figure it out. Like, it's figure outable, right? Everything is figure outable.
There's always a solution. Even with us earlier this morning, we talked about some things we need to talk about, figured out a solution within 10 minutes, and bing, bang, boom. Now we're going to take action on it. Not really hard. You just have to be able to be open to people's thoughts and make adjustments accordingly.
What I love about that, and you make up a really, really good point, is that I was coming from a point of, man, I got to respect, number one, my time, Pat's time. And how do we come up with a solution out of this? Because I'm evaluating the bottom line. What does the bottom line look like? And when I evaluate that, is there a monetizable way that we can add value? Because the purpose has to be adding value. It can't be monetization on anything.
And that's exactly why we've been doing this 3 times a week. And we're going to continue to do it 3 times a week. But for Wednesday, that's going to be for private group members.
Exactly. So, and we came up with that 20-minute exercise, right? In 20 minutes, we came up, hey, we're going to make the Wednesdays the opportunity where we can get more one-on-one with somebody. Right. We can ask questions, we can go roundtable, we can mastermind together, and we can level up, right? Because rising tides lifts all boats, and there's no doubt about that. So when you work on 3 things, when you work on your mindset first, which I call it spiritual. So my spiritual mindset, because that's most important to me, my health second, my finances third. When those things can find synergies in place. What's up, Matt? Thanks for listening, brother. When you can find synergies in those places, man, that's when rising tides, right? But it's got to start in the mind. So I go back, right? Identifying the right people. We made some serious cuts to our property management team, including one this morning. But you know how I did that? It's the right way to identify the wrong people, right? You got to identify the attributes that you still find successful in somebody, because you don't want to leave somebody or let somebody go without empowering them. You always want to empower them, believe in them, regardless if they believe in themselves. So even this morning, we have a property management kind of circle there that we had to let go, because it was more of an I can't and an I won't attitude, right? It wasn't I'll figure it out. Like, we'll figure out a game plan. We'll make a business plan to attain our vision. It's more like, no, I can't do that. I can't. When I hear I can't, then that's probably not the right people, right? You want to make sure you influence that circle with the right people. And if they don't say, I can't, I wasn't even asking. So, like, just case in point in the example, right? I'm not even asking somebody to work over 40 hours a week. I actually was asking them to work 40 hours a week. I was saying, how can we come up with something that is bite-sized pieces that makes this more manageable for you? And it was still, I can't. That's when you know it's the wrong person, right? You don't have the right person in there if it's an I can't, even if you're willing to say, hey, 40 hours a week is all I need out of you, but I need every ounce of you in that 40 hours. I can't. I can't. So when somebody says that, everything. What's up, John? Thanks for listening in, brother. There's always a way to get anything done, right? It's always manageable and always figure outable.
Yeah, good comment from John then. I totally agree with that.
Everything has to it's expectations, right? It might be that it's a little bit longer time frame, right? But we can figure it out. We'll figure it out. It might be that it's a consolidated time frame and we have to work our ass off to get there. Like, that's still figure it outable, and it might stretch us, but it's always a good stretch, right? To be uncomfortable. And even in the case of John, right? I'm working through some things, trying to get my creative side out. And I'm really stretching myself. Like, I'm super uncomfortable for some reason right now, but it's something I want to build back in play. And I think that's going to be a big asset, partnering up with John. And I'm excited to be back in town, John. A little bit more manageable right now, but we are making some big moves, as I mentioned. But it's all about finding the right people. And that's what it comes down to. Even like, surrounding yourself with the right circle of influence, right? And that's what we're doing out of this group. So we came up, 20-minute phone call. What's this going to look like? On Wednesdays, we're going to pivot and we're going to get in a group, right? And that group is going to focus on number one, mindset. We'll talk about the spiritual element because I'm a man of faith at the end of the day. I love my Lord, my God, So like for that, spiritual mindset is big for me. It may not be for you. For a spiritual mindset is my first target. My mindset overall of extreme gratefulness is number two in kind of that lineup.
Well, and just because it might not be someone's forte doesn't mean that they might not get something positive from lessons that you have in that area. So
for sure,
consider as well.
It's all about if you can create the circle of influence and level yourself up. But by doing that, like yesterday, I was having I was trying. But learn how to say no. I love it. Yesterday was a kind of like, I was like, man, like we're pivoting in certain ways. You obviously don't feel good when you're struggling that you need to cut people. So at the end of the day, COVID's been tough, right? We need to find really a consolidated group of people that are going to really get us to level up. And in one of the companies that I'm a partner in. And so I'm like, all right, how are we going to do that? And so honestly, like, I'm not the type of person that loves laying people, who does? But how do I level up and how am I going to bring the right person in that would allow us to create those rising tides, right? And that's the same thing with the group that we're creating, this private group that, on Wednesdays, how are we all going to level up together, right? How are we going to create the best of the best group that allows us to meet 4 times a month, that allows us to level up in creating, that rising tide where we can just go dominate, right? That we can create that positive mindset, that we can focus, for me, it's real estate. You don't have to be real estate. It'd be good if you're interested in real estate because I'm in it every day and I hopefully can feed into you because I'm by creating this group. It's all about the giver's game, right? So I want to give as much as I possibly can. And if the potential is to take, I'm going to take too, without a doubt. But if I can give, I want to give. Like that's all I want to do. I do think I have a tremendous amount of knowledge. I've definitely paid for a lot of knowledge. I source out a lot of knowledge every day. And then I also have a lot of knowledge in like just my personal life and my marriage, the obstacles we've gone through, and currently where I'm at in my life and my marriage and how I feed into that, right? And how I feed into my marriage every day because I know every decision I make is going to impact me at home. So I want to create home as the epicenter, my most important area of my life, because I know that will dictate everything else, right? If I have a strong perception in my home, that's where people know me best, right? So like if I can have a strong perception in my home and have just a really, really grateful, extreme type of gratefulness in my home, I can have that for other people. If I can't, and I'm not grateful for my home, how am I going to be grateful for other people? So, and I even, today I have a partner in Miami that I work a ton with. And dude, every time I get off the phone with him, dude, I appreciate you. So Eric, if you're listening, man, I appreciate you. But like, that level of just like, hey man, I appreciate you. I really do. I really appreciate you. I got like some extreme gratefulness. If I can do that in my home, it's then just going to perpetrate. It's going to funnel out. It's just going to permeate it through my daily course of life. That is what the group's going to do, right? We're going to go mindset, 90% mindset, a little bit of real estate in there. To monetize because there's got to be that monetizing figure. So a lot of mindset because that's where it's going to come from. That's where you're going to build your confidence and you're going to put yourself out there a little bit more. Appreciate Pat. He's the one that like keeps me accountable, on a weekly basis, right?
And you're a busy dude. So, I mean, this whole thing that you've been doing with the streaming, I think is wonderful. And we've gotten really consistent with it. We're going live as much or more than other podcasters I see or other streamers, which is great. And so it's like, it's time to turn the corner. How do we cut out one of these days? Because you do have a busy schedule and you do have a family and a business to run. We just take the same time on one of those days and we create a group of people that we want to focus on that are going out into the world with the information that we kind of talk about maybe on our own time that can really help people. And I wouldn't call it as much coaching or a mastermind as I would call it a community. It's the Reap the Harvest community, because we built this movement and this streaming platform off of positivity, personal development, and getting better. We both have a lot of work to do. I wouldn't consider myself an expert at anything. I think that my expertise can always be getting better, whether it's streaming or the microphone systems or us helping people in a group. I mean, it gives you a chance to also go one-on-one. And I think people are going to get a lot of value from the real estate stuff, because I know I do, because I'm still kind of learning a lot of the terminology and stuff. It gives you a chance to break the stuff down further for people that have heard you talk about certain concepts on the streams. Yeah. You were going over the 9-cap thing the other day. I mean, that's a whole class. I mean, you've studied this stuff for years and years and years and years. You could literally teach a whole course on that. But how do we break that up into segments? Maybe we cut a couple weeks out of 1 month and go deep into that, because that's what someone needs. That could change somebody's entire career. That could change the trajectory of their investment portfolio.
Well, that's just proper underwriting. It actually is rather simple. We keep it simple, stupid is what I'm about. So,
well, it sounds pretty complex to me.
Yeah, no, it's keep it simple, stupid. Do quick underwriting, and buying things wholesale. You got to buy things wholesale. 9-cap's a solid price. So, see if Matt wants to get in here. I'd love to get his opinion.
Yeah. Hold on a minute, Matt. Hold on there, buddy.
If he can't, no worries. Realize people are busy, but I'd like to get his idea of the right people. Reason being, Matt's a Marine, so he's.
Okay, so I just posted a join link. You should be able to click that and join the stream.
And so the cool thing about, and if Matt can't get on, no worries, but I'll just give a little bit of background on him. I got a Marine in my family, and I know Matt's a longtime Marine, and we appreciate your service, brother. But
we do.
Is Matt, and specifically like my brother-in-law, he's a Marine. Is you don't get to pick, like in the business corporate setting, you get to pick, right? But in a Marine setting, you almost gotta mold these guys. You gotta beat them up a little bit and mold them to get to the point of like, hey, it's my way or the highway type mentality. In corporate setting, it's a little bit different, You do get to do that if you want to. I typically don't play that game. I typically try to, get the mindset first. And if the mindset really isn't there, it's tough to mold somebody, relatively quickly. And business is business at the end of the day. You really gotta surround yourself with the right people. They gotta be coachable, trainable, teachable. And they just overall want to learn, right? You got to have the passion for learn. You don't want somebody that's just going to fight the vision on everything. And that's tough, right? But for instance, the Marines, extremely bureaucratic, right? And you're going to get people coming in that, quite honestly, there was no other choice. Like I had to go into the Marines. And so how do you pivot from there? And so we'll have to get somebody, either my brother-in-law or Matt or somebody on one of these days to really kind of, talk about that process, because that, some of the best business minds are in the level of discipline and how you can create leaders is built out of the infrastructure of the military, right? They're leaders above leaders. I know that, when I was working for Accenture and doing consulting, some of the main senior executives in that company were actually former officers within the military. And the reason why they did that, because they're amazing leaders, right? They were leading combats and troops of, 300 plus men. And they had to, you have to manage that. Those are people. And sometimes they're a little all over the place. So it's really just creating the mindset then, right? Having the vision. And Matt being a spiritual leader as well within his family, he actually, how does he create that mindset within his troops that he's over? So that's all good stuff. I know we kind of want to consolidate these, stay within about 20, 25 minutes. So we're right at that 20-minute figure, but I hope this has blessed you today. Just because it was something that was on my mind, that I just really need to, I know we need to focus on, right? We need to focus on surrounding ourselves with the right people. And that's why Pat and I eventually, now we're creating this community, this Reap the Harvest community that is going to allow people to level up, because it's all about in life. It's all about, number one, your network. And number two, leveling up. How do you level up? Level up, you want to surround yourself with the best people that are going to support you in your endeavors, that are going to encourage you, that say you're worthy, that say you can do anything, and figure it out. Let's figure it out. Let's, what are your dreams and ambitions, and how do we tackle them together? So that's really what the community is going to be about. And then it's also going to be, it's going to be directed by me. Pat's going to be a moderator in there as well. And then it's also you want to bounce any ideas or questions off, but what we'll do is we'll have an accelerator. So we're going to actually build out kind of 10-year dreams or dream goals. We're going to backtrack those and really make them into kind of smaller bite-sized pieces, and then hold each other accountable. And then we'll have actually daily topics. So or weekly topics, I'm sorry, that we'll go over and what makes the most sense for that week. So and we'll just create a community out of it. So that's what we're going to be doing there. Super excited about that. And it's really all, it's going to be about leveling up, there's small fee associated with it. And we'll make sure we drive out all those figures and make sure people can sign up. But it's going to be big, and it's going to allow people.
Really cool.
Level up.
And we've been talking about it for a while, and business and family come first. And you've been traveling around, you've been focusing on bills. You've got a lot of stuff going on, but I think that cutting out a little bit of time from what we're already doing and designating an area for that to get specific and to really dial in with a certain group of people is phenomenal. So I'm excited about it, man. You have a great weekend. Thank you for everything too. I mean, if you guys don't know, I bugged Matt through December. I didn't have any clients, and Matt hopped on to start a podcast with me, and we've taken it all the way here, and we're taking it into creating a group. And so I really kind of restarted my business with this Reap the Harvest concept. So it's really exciting to see it growing and turning into something that can help others, because it's really helped me and my family a lot. So I want to make sure I emphasize that too. So everybody have a great weekend. Stay positive, and hopefully we can be some of the right people for you to surround yourself with. So until next time, thank you, Matt. And we'll see everybody.